Good morning. I'm Dr. Deborah Watson, Innovation Manager at Business West. Business West is a certified B Corp aiming to make the region the best place to live, learn and work. And we offer a range of support services and programs to help businesses grow, innovate and export. If you'd like to ask questions on today's webinar, please post them in the Q&A, and we'll also be recording the session. Now, when trying to grow and scale your business, time and resources are limited, and the focus is often on the present. This webinar series with AWS looks at future-proofing your business, helping you to navigate some of the greatest challenges businesses face today on the themes like data security and AI. Today, we look at future-fit innovation and sustainability, including quick wins, practical actions, and creating a future-fit framework. We are delighted to welcome from Amazon Web Services, Darren Coe, a Solutions Architect, and Ben Newbury, an Account Manager. And later, we'll hear from Territory Manager, Max Barnett. Welcome all of you, and good morning to you.
Morning, and thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Marcus.
Good morning, everyone.
As mentioned, this first webinar in the series from AWS and Business West will spend some time today looking at how the intersection of sustainability and digital transformation can really support your business on the journey to net zero, but also show how embarking on this journey can actually offer up significant opportunities for forward-thinking organizations such as yourselves. This is ultimately where the future fit innovation piece comes in, and we hope the insights through this session today support you in decision-making when it comes to driving future growth across your business. Using the benefits of technology, you can kickstart this process, leveraging the wider support available from AWS, which we'll discuss kind of through the session today, that can help with accelerating action and impact. At a business level, there are commercial benefits that implementing a sustainable transformation strategy can bring, and this can often take a number of different forms. As an example, integrating sustainable practices into your business operations using the likes of a carbon accounting solution can enable you to effectively monitor and track your carbon footprint as a business. This increased visibility on energy consumption can not only lead to operational efficiencies, but also a reduction in costs, whether that be delivering to your customers, improving your production process, or just eliminating unnecessary expenditure linked to the services that you may offer. We'll be discussing Amazon and AWS's broader approach to sustainability transformation, and as a result, how you can cover some of the cloud-based tools and sustainability solutions that we've established through that learned experience, which can help you in taking steps to future-proof your business. Darren and I are going to be available for Q&A at the end of the session today, and look forward to fielding any questions you have to see how we can help with the situation that you may find yourselves in. So what do we mean when we say future fit? It's worth taking a bit of time here just to initially explain this. Overall future fit refers to taking a broad, longer-term view and subsequently structuring business and operations in a way that benefits society and the planet for the future. We want to help our customers become future fit by creating value across economic, social, and environmental pillars of your business. And to do this, a large part of the process is simply just understanding the unique challenges and opportunities that your business might face. At AWS, we typically work backwards from that, and then we try to identify the needs that you have, but also the right tools and processes that we can have kind of with you on those needs to create this new value creation. We constantly find working with customers to anticipate those needs and innovate by their side is often the way that we build solutions that allow them to prosper in increasingly resource-constrained, carbon-intense reality. So how do we do this at AWS? You can see here, we use what we call the Future Fit framework to help customers understand where they are now, but also calibrate where they hope to get to on that transformation journey. Levels 1 and 2 are really about helping customers understand and report on their physical and digital footprints. This might be IT or the likes of their end-to-end supply chain management, but really it's an opportunity here to use data for monitoring, but also to provide insights that can have a positive operational impact, whether that's implementing sustainability practices on the road to net zero or simply just improving efficiency within your operations. Levels 3 and 4, however, is more of a wider transformational play, where innovation and commercial opportunities represented by sustainability is one that can basically really be capitalized on only if the right strategy is in place. Customers often find themselves pathfinders here, leading the way for new growth opportunities where many other organizations may be also facing similar challenges. In summary, levels 1 and 2 are really operational focused, where the likes of energy reduction and efficiency alongside costs can be the main drivers for change, whereas levels 3 and 4 really look at sustainability as a way to spark innovation, as a lever for growth and differentiation. Particularly, we find in green tech industries where this can have far-reaching impact across the likes of energy and utilities. A prime example of a customer on the AWS side who really transcends all of this framework is Lunar Energy, and they're one of the leading global smart battery producers, developing both their grid share software and hardware for better use of renewable energy. With the energy transition accelerating in a world that we often see now as striving for cleaner and more sustainable energy future, they really seek to provide renewable energy storage systems that can be installed within the likes of solar panels on residential and commercial properties. These devices then subsequently act as backups for the power plant for households and businesses, improving energy usage patterns that in turn balance the wider grid. What I find here is not only are they using AWS to support their customer energy system and grid share, but they are continuously looking for new ways to be more efficient with their infrastructure setup, from using AWS serverless technologies to looking at best practices for reducing the energy consumption of their workloads. I think it's key here that no matter where you find yourselves on this framework, there's no right or wrong position to be in, and the opportunities for action across all levels are here using cloud-based technology. So for this slide, before I kind of got into the Amazon and AWS piece on its own sustainability journey, we want to take a look at some of the recent trends that we're currently seeing in the space. I think here it's basically important to consider that topic touches the topic really touches everyone across multiple sectors of society, where over recent years it's definitely gained momentum, not just being a nice to have, but a business imperative. Many are now using sustainability as a measure for what companies we might work with, invest in and buy from. And this is really only increasing over younger generations. In order to secure the best talent and investment, we're having to kind of ensure we are putting emphasis on that journey to net zero or risk being left behind by the competition. And customers and employees really expect more, whilst government and regulation is increasingly demanding action, which even if it doesn't impact your business directly, can certainly have a knock-on effect for you, your clients and your customers, particularly when you're working with larger enterprise organizations that are also compelled to make the right changes. One thing I think we found was the first time ever in Gartner's annual CEO survey in 2022, CEOs placed environmental sustainability in their top 10 business priorities, which hadn't happened previously, and is a clear indication of the changing impetus for action in this space, something we can only expect to build in future. When we then look at kind of what we're seeing with our own customers at AWS over the past 10 years or so, there's definitely been a seismic shift in attitudes where sustainability has moved from being a bolt-on aspect of a business's priorities to being a central part of the core strategy. Sustainability is no longer just the right thing to do anymore, but the smart thing to do in order to drive long-term value creation and ensure you're future-proofing your organization moving forward. One example from a recent study with McKinsey found that products with ESG claims had achieved a CAGR of 6.4% in comparison to 4.7% for those that don't. And there's a real opportunity here to innovate on new products, processes and services, which I know, despite initially being daunting, can actually be a really exciting time for new innovation, whether this is reduced costs, improved operational efficiencies, or just simply opening up new revenue streams. The IDC estimates organizations in Europe are actually expected to invest 100 billion in digital solutions for environmental sustainability by 2025, with France, the UK and Germany leading the way on this. So what are we doing in the realm of sustainability? When we now look at Amazon and AWS, it's fair to say there's a full commitment to building a sustainable business moving forward for customers. In 2019, we co-founded the Climate Pledge, a commitment to be net zero carbon across our business by 2040, 10 years ahead of the Paris Agreement, with the Climate Pledge now having over 445 signatories across 38 countries. In June 2020, Amazon also announced the Climate Pledge Fund with an initial $2 billion in funding to invest in visionary companies whose products and solutions would help facilitate the transition to a lower carbon economy. Amazon itself is on a path to powering its operations with 100% renewable energy by 2025. 5 years ahead of its original 2030 commitment, and it's also the largest corporate purchaser of renewable energy globally. reaching about 90% renewable energy across its business in 2022. One of the most visible ways I think AWS is using innovation to improve power efficiency is investment in our AWS chips, where the likes of our kind of Graviton-free processor uses up to 60% less energy for the same performance as comparable EC2 instances. These chips, alongside our inferential training chips for machine learning workloads, offer customers options for driving down energy consumption. And one only has to look at the increasing interest in Gen AI to understand that enabling businesses to train large language models and experiment with AI and ML can only be done sustainably with businesses looking at this in a responsible fashion. AWS has also developed some tools in customer carbon footprint tool and the well-architected pillar for the sustainability, pillar, which Darren will cover in more detail shortly, providing both visibility on the environmental impacts of running cloud workloads, but also recommendations for building and maintaining infrastructure that has sustainability in mind from the outset. There's a couple of more bits here, but what I want you to take from this is that these learned experiences are something that we want to actively share with our customers and organizations that we work with, where the likes of reporting, legislation, and customer preference will remain key to taking actions moving forward. Businesses here can benefit from the tools and solution AWS has to offer, and as part of the wider effort to net zero, we may well be able to serve you and your teams further down the road. This slide here really just seeks to cover some of the areas we hear from our customers and the different personas we deal with from the IT side up to C-level execs. And obviously, I'm not sure who's on the call today, but some of these may kind of relate to you and your own business. We find some businesses come forward with a clear focus on lowering their carbon and waste to serve for their end consumers. And clients are increasingly becoming socially responsible and environmentally conscious in their purchasing behavior. Acknowledging this is key to the future perception of brands versus their competitors. And it's also clear that you want to make efforts with your consumers in terms of your marketing campaigns and messaging being put forward to make sure it resonates with them. From the IT side and operations, a lot of the attention is then placed on how businesses can seek to reduce their energy consumption for IT workloads, but also in their wider operations, whether that be on-premise or in the cloud, and with the byproduct of that often being reduced infrastructure costs. Outside of this, using data and technology to highlight where existing processes can be improved is also a real area of interest. And one only has to look at our AWS IoT services that deliver value across the likes of manufacturing, agriculture, and transportation, where we can do things like predictive quality and maintenance analytics, or to look at asset monitoring and process optimization, some things that we can kind of talk about with you in future if this is of interest to you. When it comes to regulation, actually a lot of it's becoming mandatory now, and it's putting pressures on businesses to understand and report on the likes of their scope 1 and 3 emissions. Truly understanding this impact is also then important to making the required changes at an organizational level. And whether it's kind of directly relating to your own organization or actually the kind of the larger enterprises that you might be dealing with, there's obviously knock-on implications for growth, where actually suppliers and consumers here are really making these requirements non-negotiables for new business ventures or partnerships. So it's really key to be able to understand and articulate what you're doing in this space. Leveraging the benefits of tailored digital solutions is also an area we want to explore with you. And this not only takes the form of existing tools and mechanisms used by other customers, but also the ability to co-innovate with you to directly address your specific business challenges. I think as a final slide here, just at a high level, I've highlighted some of the ways that your business can work with us to drive sustainable action. And we're definitely here to help you change the future narrative. Whether it's fostering a cultural change in your organization or working with your teams on a specific new product or service release that has sustainability in mind, we want to drive future fit innovation with you, identifying where you can maximize the value you derive from the partnership with AWS. For the remainder of the session today, Darren's going to take us through some AWS-specific approach to sustainability, highlighting those tools that I briefly mentioned, programs and resources also available to empower your business, really irrespective of where you currently find yourselves on that journey. Whether you want to understand how moving to cloud can support you and your business in becoming more sustainable, build a better picture of your carbon footprint, or simply just accelerate new innovation that allows you to face sustainability challenges or wider business challenges head on, we're always here for an open conversation. Thanks, Darren.
Great. Thank you, Ben. So sustainability is a journey. We've seen all the different tools and resources that are available to you as a customer of AWS, but how do we put this together into a framework where it's clear for what the next steps will be? First, we have sustainability of the cloud. So this is where you migrate your workloads to AWS and you take advantage of the investments that you've seen and heard about that AWS has made into sustainability and those efficiencies itself. You inherit those by being a customer of AWS, and this is where the responsibility of improving those efficiencies is still within AWS's part of the responsibility model. We then have sustainability in the cloud, where you have the opportunity to optimize your workloads for sustainability, and we will dive into some of those best practices and those design principles. And this is really where you have the ability to configure and optimize your workloads to have that desired outcome from a IT infrastructure point of view. And then lastly, we have sustainability through the cloud, which is the sustainable transformation that Ben has been sharing with you today, where you're able to take advantage of the services, the resources, the data sets that are available through AWS, and able to really accelerate your achievement of your sustainability objectives. This might be releasing a new service or feature on a product that or a service that you offer already, or this might be an entirely new line of business that we'd be happy to help you innovate in this space. So there are three different areas here, and let's move into sustainability of the cloud. And this is again highlighting how AWS's economies of scale and the fact that we run data centers across the global infrastructure enables us to pass those efficiencies onto our customers, such as yourselves. So AWS infrastructure is about 3.6 times more energy efficient than the median of surveyed US enterprise data centers. And this is information that's been provided by an independent analyst company, 451 Research. You'll be able to also see the metrics for European and Asian-based data centers as well. AWS can lower that carbon footprint of on average on-premise data centers, and actually by up to 80% as of today. And as we continue our 100% renewable energy, our path to 100% renewable energy, that'll be up to 96% reduction in carbon by moving onto AWS. We have also these other initiatives in place, so being water positive by 2030, and reducing carbon emissions across the rest of our operations, but then also embracing this circular economy within our data centers as well. So extending the life of server racks, using our networking equipment for a longer period of time, and really extending the use of what we have at the moment. And additionally, to understand what the impact of migrating to AWS could look like for your company, we have the AWS Migration Evaluator, where you're able to get that estimate of that impact by migrating to AWS. Thanks, Ben. We'll go to the next one. And now we have sustainability in the cloud. This is really where your teams and your operation teams and your IT teams have the ability to, as we said before, configure and optimize your workload on AWS. So we have the sustainability pillar, where you have the best practices across multiple domains. This could include things like data management. This could include things such as like choosing the right kind of hardware and right sizing your hardware for your workloads. There's a lot of opportunity here and an opportunity to dive deep with solutions architects such as myself. We also have the AWS Carbon Footprint tool. So this currently measures your scope 1 and 2 emissions of the workloads running on AWS. And this gives you an opportunity to ensure that your changes are directionally aligned and are having the right kind of impact with your sustainability goals. We also have the AWS Design Silicon, as Ben has mentioned earlier, so using Graviton chips, Trainium and Inferentia chips. And so using the right hardware where you take advantage of modern designs and higher energy efficiencies really passes on that benefit to you as well. And then lastly, we have the AWS Solutions Library. So this is where you're able to take advantage of particular guidance on how to optimize your workload. And also there are some solutions which you can use as a starting place for your needs and for your services. And actually you're able to take that code and then tailor that for your needs. So there's a lot of opportunity in the sustainability in the cloud space. And this is very much where solutions architects such as myself are here to help customers of AWS. We can dive a little bit deeper into the well-architected pillar for sustainability. So there's very much this focus on understanding your impact, establishing your sustainability goals. And then once those are clearer, being able to have that impact by reducing the impact of your cloud workload. We focus on through the sustainability pillar, we want to maximize that utilization and therefore that kind of productivity of the services that you are using. And where possible, we want to make sure that you adopt the latest and greatest in terms of hardware and software offerings from AWS. You can see that there are different technical domains here, and happy to dive into those. But now if we move on to the customer carbon footprint tool, this is where you have this dashboard of your IT environment on AWS, and it gives you this estimate of the carbon emissions associated with your usage of those services. So at least from a measuring your impact point of view, you're able to see as of where you currently are on AWS, how much your consumption is linked to a carbon emission. And from that point onwards, you're able to leverage the principles and designs that you've seen with the sustainability pillar and track that progress over time. So you're able to see where you are spending you have the largest consumption of carbon under certain services or under certain geographies, and then you're able to take action upon that. I think we can go to the next slide, thank you. And then lastly, just wanting to touch upon sustainability through the cloud. And so there are lots of different domains here. We can see different use cases such as carbon accounting, sustainable buildings, energy optimization. This is really driven by what are the needs of your business at this point in time, and what value are you trying to drive by using AWS to achieve the sustainability goal. And you can see the solution responses underneath. There are different ways in which we have helped our customers in the past, and we continue to help our customers. So this might be using the correct services, so using the right tools for your particular use case, whether that's databases, the right kind of compute, the right kinds of machine learning services. We also have a deep network of partners through the AWS Partner Network, where they can either help you with the implementation or provide consulting services, but also maybe offer a SaaS solution, saving your business time in having to create that custom solution because that's already available through our marketplace. We also have AWS Solutions where, again, we've talked about the offerings, kind of code samples and guidance and configurations on how you can set up your environment to suit the needs of your business. And then we also have prescriptive guidance, whether it's architectural diagrams and other technical content. So these are all solutions, and these are all offerings that I'm sure you're aware of through your current use of AWS. And this is really how it's been aligned with sustainability and your sustainability needs. And then just as a shout out to the right-hand side, you can see the solutions library that you can explore further. Thanks, Ben. Okay. And so just touching upon these different domains then. So we have different solutions and different sustainability use cases. So for instance, with manufacturing distribution, we have customers who are using IoT Twin Maker, so leveraging their existing organizational data to create digital twins of their workflows, of their factories, of their production lines. And they're able to leverage that real-time data and that real-time operational view to then optimize their processes to reduce waste, maybe improve the yield of their production lines, and therefore have that impact from a sustainability point of view. And then if we look at, say, things such as like sustainable packaging, there's examples within Amazon ourselves where we've applied machine learning models to cameras on the production line, on the packaging line, which allows for the optimal sizing of packaging to reduce cardboard waste, so that as these products are boxed up and they're sent to the customers, they're not put in oversized boxes where possible. And then we also have carbon accounting solutions in ESG reporting and disclosure, where we have solutions such as Flex Zero on AWS Marketplace and many, many others, where this allows your organization to ingest data from lots of different data stores and understand what is the current amount of carbon that your business has as a footprint, and then understanding where are the levers and where are the opportunities to reduce those carbon emissions. And so this covers the full kind of operational scope of your business. It could be around employee commuting. This could be, again, use of buildings and energy and that kind of process there. But then also, production, if you have any of that, physical production as well. So there are lots of opportunities here, and to really leverage AWS, and particularly around, say, things like energy analytics and forecasting. We have our data analytics services, and we have machine learning services that you can leverage and apply to your data sets, and that gives you that clearer view and a more kind of more tools in your toolkit so that you can achieve your sustainability goals. So we'll move on now, and we'll have a look at some of these case studies where customers have been able to achieve this. And in this case here, just want to highlight Illumina, how they've been able to reduce their carbon emissions by 89%. And that's really been achieved by lowering their data storage costs on AWS. So this is a biotechnology company where they've had this data footprint, which has continued to grow from 1 petabyte to 100 petabytes in 8 years. And that consumption meant that they were consuming a lot of resource on AWS. And there was an opportunity for them to apply technical best practices from the sustainability pillar and manage that data to a more manageable level. And in this case, they were able to turn on S3 intelligent tiering, which automatically cycles the data so that more frequently accessed data is stored in a more accessible storage class, and then colder data is stored in a colder, slower data storage class. And this has enabled them to have improved cost savings, but also reduce their carbon footprint without negatively impacting access to that data. So this is just an example of one of the steps that you could take within your organization today, and it can have significant impact. If we move on to our next case study, we also have Pentair. So this is a company where they provide water filtration systems to breweries, fish farms, and other industrial and commercial use cases. And in this case, they were able to use AWS IoT Sitewise to create that digital twin of their membrane filters. So this enabled them in a real-time fashion to understand what is that maintenance and that replacement cycle of their membrane filters, rather than guessing, based off of vague data. And so in this particular case, having that digital twin allows them to diagnose, enables them to have that predictive maintenance cycle, and so that you're not unnecessarily replacing membrane filters before the end of their life. And so that digital twin, as it says here, gives them the chance to model that behavior much closer to reality. And all of that is real-time data that's being ingested into their systems. And so they're not having any guessing. This is very much driven by data and ensuring that, there's a reduction in waste overall, and there's an avoidance in unnecessary downtime and maintenance. I think we can move on to the next slide. Thank you. And so we have, several different ways that we've highlighted how sustainability can look like on your journey with AWS. And I'd like to invite Max to kind of call out and highlight how we can help.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks a lot, Ben and Darren. And hi, everyone. So I'm Max. I'm one of the account managers based in the Southwest here at AWS. And in addition to the sustainability readiness assessment that Darren and Ben mentioned, I'd be really happy to speak to you about your AWS environment in general. So we can arrange a technical call, discuss your AWS environment and how sustainability relates to that and your sustainability plan. So please do feel free to get in touch via Business West. Business West will explain how to do that, and I'd be more than happy to have a call. It'd be great to chat to you all. So yeah, just wanted to come and introduce myself, and looking forward to hopefully speaking to you all soon. I think with that, hand over to Deborah.
Thank you all very much. It was fascinating to learn what you've all been up to. I think we're now open for Q&A. So if you've got questions from the audience, make sure you pop them into the Q&A. A few little bits from me. So if you're not working with AWS yet, how do you even go about starting? What are the sort of first things people should do in terms of their thinking around, what should I do? Is AWS an option for me? And how should I go about that? Because the two case studies you gave were quite large businesses, but for smaller businesses that we tend to work with, what should their thinking process be?
Yeah, I can take this initially, Deborah. It's a fair question. I think we see a lot of customers come to us at varying different stages of cloud adoption. So whether they're kind of already in on another provider, or they're actually completely on premise, or actually technology is a bit of an alien concept in that space, it's kind of okay in either case. The first point is really just talking to us and actually just having that initial conversation. I think we're super open to that, whether it's on the technical side or on the commercial side, to understand what your business might be doing, what challenges you might be facing, and actually then working backwards from your needs there. So it's a typical process on our side. And some of you, I know there was a kind of a webinar done last year with Business West around kind of that working backwards process that we have. But just as a kind of a one-liner, it's understanding what your needs are and then actually trying to transcend that into action somehow. It's trying to make it tangible for you. But I think one thing to say there is, we're kind of open to any conversation, and you're coming to us and saying, look, we don't even have a cloud environment yet. That's not a problem. Actually, that's something that we see as a big opportunity, and certainly something we want to help with. So yeah, that's where I'd kind of leave it.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, so that's really where, if it has this sustainability lens, we'd like to apply that sustainability readiness assessment. So it's not necessarily like an exam of, trying to ask, are you ticking all the boxes at this current point in time, but rather understanding what the current situation is, and then being able to work backwards from that, as Ben has said, so that we can bring the right resources to bear, whether that's solutions architects such as myself, and we do a deeper dive into the sustainability pillar, or we bring other resources such as kind of subject matter experts, or perhaps we run another, say, working backwards workshop with the customer in order to create and establish those sustainability goals and start to make action towards those.
Perfect. So for those businesses of ours who aren't really quite sure, probably aren't in the cloud yet, but are thinking, we've got our own data center, we've got our own data, this is getting costly, we want to scale, maybe we need more, do we buy more, how do we do that? Then the first conversation is to talk to you guys to understand how the cloud could help, and maybe get them, off the cloud. So get that sort of first part of the journey underway.
That's right.
For those that are doing a little bit more, I think you were talking about some of the tools. I mean, today's webinar is particularly about sustainability. So what other tools exist from AWS for measuring sustainability? You mentioned some of them there.
Yeah, that's right. So we have the customer carbon footprint tool. So that gives you the estimate of the carbon footprint associated with their AWS workload that they currently have. We also do have, within the sustainability pillar, other principles such as proxy metrics, which lean upon your existing observability that you might have, and really being able to draw that alignment with sustainability from those existing metrics that the business might already use. So those are just two examples. But I think, having this kind of initial discussion with us gives the business the opportunity to kind of innovate and think a bit bigger about the sustainability landscape itself. So rather than seeing sustainability as purely like a compliance and a regulatory driver, but also looking at sustainability as an opportunity for business and for developing new ways to deliver value to your customers.
Lovely, thank you. So if you're a business that doesn't have its own sustainability team, I guess you could be part of its sustainability team, so you can start to provide that knowledge and intelligence as to what's available to a small company. Yeah,
and also just taking that a little bit further, we do understand that sort of small medium businesses may not necessarily have all the resources that these large businesses have. So whether it's a sustainability team or a large development team, there is this, as we like to call it, there's a build and a buy persona, and there's a spectrum. So we do understand that certain SMBs do prefer to be more on the build, so they prefer to create their own custom solutions. But very validly as well, there are also on the buy end of the spectrum where there are existing solutions in place that are available from AWS partners, and we can help to find the right solution and help them procure through the marketplace.
So that's sort of going back to your three areas. So that's the sort of in the cloud. So understanding.
Yes,
so what's the best way for a business to understand what tools are available for the in the cloud work? Again, working through you guys and.
Yeah, so we have the AWS marketplace. So if it's very clear as to what kind of SaaS solution or what kind of vendor provided solution the SMB needs, then you can just immediately search through that AWS marketplace. But otherwise, we have a deep team on the AWS side who can help you through that journey and through that navigation process. So, very open-minded, and this is a series of conversations that I've had with many of my own customers in the UK, and happy to extend that to attendees to this call.
Lovely.
Just to add in, sorry, I've just seen Meg Clifford's question around the carbon footprint tool being free to use. So Meg, the carbon footprint tool is free to use, but it really, I guess it gives you a view of your customer carbon footprint on AWS with your specific workloads there. However, what Darren mentioned is actually you can look at marketplace, and there's deployable SaaS solutions out there on the marketplace, which will be cloud-based. These won't necessarily be free, but actually they'll be kind of something that you can kind of tailor to your specific business needs. So they're kind of quite flexible SaaS solutions there. So depending on what industry you might be part of or what you're looking to do, they can kind of work with you to provide the answers you need.
Lovely, thank you, Ben. You were literally about to get that one as your next question. So thank you, Meg, for that question. The next one was more of a sort of part comment from me. Your Illumina case study. I mean, we're talking today about sustainability, and the headline was 89% carbon reduction, which is absolutely fantastic. But the figure that sort of got skipped over quite quickly was a 60% cost reduction. So we quite often have businesses that we're speaking to when we're trying to get them onto the low carbon journey, net zero journey through Business West, where they're sort of saying, why should we do this as a business? And, the right thing to do. And I thought it was interesting that you're moving now to, it's the smart thing to do. So I think that's an interesting concept, that it's not just about sustainability. This 60% cost reduction, that's a business benefit. So no question in it from me, but more of a comment on your case study. If some of our businesses are wondering, why should I be doing this? Then I think it was quite clear why you should be doing it. Not only is it the smart thing to do, the right thing to do, it's financially sensible for your business and absolutely amazing for the planet in terms of what we're doing. The last question I've got for you, what options do businesses have with AWS to kickstart co-innovation or sustainability through the cloud? So this is for those that are much more advanced with you, I'm guessing. Once you're sort of on the cloud and using the tools, the next stage is that innovation. So where are we for that in terms of kickstarting co-innovation?
Yeah, I think on this front, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be fully invested on cloud already, but I think it's dependent on the journey that you want to take with us. If you're looking at kind of release of new products and services on your side, or actually there's a real business challenge that you need technology to help you with in terms of innovation, that's where we can come in. And obviously we mentioned the working backwards piece, and kind of we ultimately do these kind of longer workshops that try and work out your business needs and try and tie those to solutions at the back end. Obviously those solutions being cloud-based solutions that we might have on offer, but equally we might not have an offer that suits that need. And then we work to co-innovate with you, whether it's kind of on the commercial side or with our kind of industry specialists that we have, or whether it's kind of technical folks that are really service specific, where they know that a service is really going to meet the need that you have. So I think just one to take away there is we'll need to do more deep dive with you to understand what that challenge is and how we can help. But it really doesn't, there's no reason to be on AWS before we have those conversations, because actually what you might find is just having that initial conversation will lead to a business proposition for you and why cloud should be considered, but equally how you can then see a future path for innovation across your business using technology that we have to offer.
And so I just want to add to that in terms of highlighting specific events and support that Amazon and AWS are doing at the moment for small, medium businesses. If you go into LinkedIn or if you kind of search on our website, there is the Amazon Innovation Accelerator, which is focused on UK-based small, medium businesses. And I've been part of that team in terms of helping those businesses go through their innovation journey. So not just focused necessarily on sustainability, but really bringing to bear all of the experience that Amazon has internally and sharing that with our SMB customers to help them drive that innovation outcome that they're looking for. So we do have another set of another cohort, sorry, of the Amazon Innovation Accelerator. So if you're interested in that, do feel free to reach out to us or have a look on LinkedIn as well.
Lovely, thank you. Last opportunity if there is anybody with a quick question, because otherwise I'm closing us off for today. So in the absence of any questions popping back into the chat, I'm going to say a very big thank you to our speakers today. Alongside the further opportunity with AWS that the team have mentioned, Business West also offer a range of support services and programs to help businesses grow and innovate. If you do get in touch with us via the email address that's currently on screen, then we can have a chat with you about what those services offers are, and we will pass you over to the Amazon AWS team as well. So just get in touch via that innovation@businesswest.co.uk email address, and we will make sure you get to speak to the right people. Thank you very much to the team today, and don't forget to join Business West and AWS for the rest of the Future Fit series and to learn how to safeguard your business and unlock potential for exponential growth. Next week, and never far from the news, is data security, and after that is AI. Thank you to our guests today, Darren, Ben and Max. Thank you very much for joining Business West and AWS this morning. From all of you, have a great day.
Thank you all for having us.
Thank you.